Hi guys, I'm Isa, and today we're going to be continuing our PHP tutorial. So today we're doing about the basic PHP tags. So the first thing we're going to learn about is this PHP opening and closing tag. So it's just a question mark and then PHP. And you can close it by go question mark and the code for there, and then this closing bracket. So you can put PHP code in it. So like you can put PHP code like this echo used to print text. So you can just write the function. Right, you can just write echo, and then you put a space. Then these two quotation marks, since you're doing with text and the text you want. This underlined, and PHP always ends with semicolons. So I'm going to make a tag by making these two forward slashes. I'm going to say arrays in PHP. So tags don't affect any of your code. So to make an array, so since we're declaring a variable, it's a $. So I'm going to name it numbers. So we're going to set it equal to. So when dealing with arrays, so you have to write array, then these two brackets, these two parentheses. So I'm going to say 5, 8, 2, 5, 4, 9, 8. So you separate items in arrays with commas. Then we're gonna have as many values as you want. So I'm going to do echo to print it out. I'm going to say echo, and then the $, numbers. It's going to print out the numbers variable. Reload it. It shows an error. It says array to string conversion because echo only prints strings or integers, or also integers or numbers, because echo can only print strings or ints or booleans. So instead we can print an item of the array by using these two square brackets. So the first item of an array is represented by 0. So if we say echo number 0, it's going to say 5, because 5 was the first item of the array. So do echo numbers 8. So if we do echo numbers 8, it's going to say 1, and this one was the last item of the array. So the access item of an array, and just do that number -1. So if we want to do 4 is the 5th item of the array. So we have to do that number -1. So 4. That's what it's going to say. So we can store that in a variable, another variable. I just say number. We'll call it number index. I'm just set it equal to 2. 3. So we're just echo numbers, then number index. So for index, and I'm going to say -1. So I'm going to say -1. So since we said 3. It means the third item of the numbers array. So, but we did echo numbers. But if we just did echo numbers, number index, it's going to say 8, since actually it's going to say 0, since the first item is 0. The first item is represented by 0. So since we minused it by 1, we're going to do the third item, which is 2. So So that's how arrays work. And I'm going to make a new tag, which is going to say string arrays. So string arrays are just arrays with numbers. I'm going to rename this variable named number index to arr index, showing array index. So I'm just going to we're going to make a new array. I'm going to name it strings equal to array string 1, string 2, string 3, 4, S5, and so if I do echo, I'm going to say this is strings. Then I put this bracket. They are index. Then we're going to say the our index variable -1. So you know what we did. So if I set the ARR index to x3, what I'm going to do is assert item of that list. And if we set it to like 4, I'm going to do the fourth item of that list. So another thing we can do is printing HTML elements in PHP. So HTML element in PHP. So I'm going to make a print. So since it's a string, let's use these double quotation marks. I'm going to say h1, and then h1, and if I can see something, I'm going to say that soon. We can also put the h1 and slash h1 in a variable so that we won't have to write them manually. So make a variable named h1 equal to this h1 opening tag, and there's a variable named as h1. That means ch1, which means closing h1. Make it equal to the closing h1. So we're going to replace the h1 and the h1 with the variables. So now that we did I have to put the space between the opening h1 and the closing h1 so that it's going to know that's a string. So if I'm going to write the number is then a colon. Then I'm going to strings. Then I'm going to put in this ARR index -1. Well, we can't really do a minus since it's like that. Since it's a string, so I can just store it in a new variable. So I'm going to name it ARR IND, which is short for index. Set it equal to ARR index -1. I can use that ARR IND variable instead. When the key or end with this $sign, it's a variable. It says, I'm just changing this thing that says number to text. So text is str4. So the last thing we're going to learn about is if statements. So let me just tag this out. Just tag all of these out. Except for the h1 and closing h1. So if statements in PHP. So if statement, you have to write if, then these two parentheses to specify the condition. So let's say we have a variable. It's going to be called is male. Set equal to true. And say if is male equals to true. Or instead of just doing equals to true, we're gonna just write is male. So that if we just write a variable, name it an if statement, that means if that variable is equal to true, and just say echo true. So it says true. So we can also just put this true in the H1. So I'm going to use those variables that we made. Now to H1. So I have these tabs, which are the operators in if statements. If you put equals, that means it's equal to. If you put exclamation mark equals, it means it's not equal to. If you put the less than, it means less than. Greater than means greater than. So if we make the is male to equal to false, it says nothing. If we wanted to do something, if it doesn't meet that condition, we're going to do else. So else echo false. So I'm also going to put this in the H1, and closing H1. That's and then there's a semicolon there. So oh, that's false, since it's false. So the last thing we're going to learn is about constants in PHP. And to make a constant variable, because a constant variable is a variable that can't change, we use the define keyword to make a constant variable. And also just tag this out. So what's the name of the variable? I would just say, because also constants usually start with capitals, or usually all capital letters. So I'll put them in lowercase letters if you want, but it's going to make them to be capital. You want to do a comma and then a value. So we're going to be its value. We just do an echo of this variable. It says that. And there are also case, not case sensitive ones. So if we just write the name in lowercase letters, it says undefined constant name, because we didn't write it in capital letters. Those got to be in capital letters. So anyways, that's the end of today's tutorial. If you enjoyed, leave a like and subscribe. So bye.